the power of the bulletproof apology. Okay. So we have this thing called the bulletproof apology, which is, we call it an apology, but really in life, it's, or in real life, it doesn't even say the word apology in the sense inside of it. Okay. So it's not really you're not really apologizing, but it is an apology in a masculine way, delivered in a masculine way. So the bulletproof apology, the whole concept behind it is that when you deliver this to your wife, it sets you up for testing by your wife. Now, being tested by your wife is a really critical part of rebuilding your marriage. Your marriage didn't get to where it is now from, Wednesday to Thursday. It took months, years, if not decades, to get it where it's at right now, where it's not functioning. And so for you to believe that you can get your wife from one day to the other to believe that you've changed, that's BS. It's unrealistic. You take 10-year marriage breaking down, and in a week, you're going to have your wife back in your lap because you've done some magical thing. No, it's surface level. It doesn't exist. You need to be tested. And when you pass these tests by your wife, that is what's rebuilding trust for her and allows her to trust that the changes she's experiencing in you are for good, are here for a long time. You're not just using willpower. You're not just pretending, none of that stuff. But you're actually genuinely changed these behaviors permanently, and she doesn't need to worry about them coming back again. So the bulletproof apology sets you up for these tests and allows you to be tested by your wife. Because, when your marriage is starting to break down and your wife gave you the slap, she's checked out. And you need to get her back in the space where she wants to test you. You need to create that curiosity. Oh, wow. John has been behaving a certain way for the last 10 years when I'm doing X, Y, Z. For the last few times this happened, he hasn't been behaving that way. His behavior has been totally different. And I like it, but I don't trust it. I need to put John to the ringer to make sure that I get what's happening. Why is this happening? How is this even possible? John, anything you want to add on this?
No, it goes back to that complacency, right? Because for a lot of men, they've in the past, the wife will have experience of him making changes, but the changes are often for a short period of time. In the man's world, it's like, oh, well, she's just giving out, maybe not taking out the garbage, and he starts taking out the garbage for 2 or 3 weeks, and then, oh, she's not complaining about it anymore, so I don't need to continue doing that, right? So, on this point, like the tests come because she's been down this road before. She's seen changes before, but in a lot of cases, she's also seen her husband fall off those changes. She's giving you the slap. She's been putting up with your BS for the last two plus years, 10 plus years, 20 plus years, whatever it is, and she's not easily going to be turned around just because you make a change for a week. She wants to know that, hey, this time it's for real. For a woman to get to the point where she's giving you a slap, it's not an easy journey for her. Like it's not a small, oh, I didn't get you steak when I went to the grocery store. It's not that. Like she's gone through a lot of emotions to get to the point where she wants you out of her life, where she sees her future being better without you, and changes for a week or two are not going to cut it in relation to being recommitted to a future with you that she can actually see herself in.
Yeah. Now, I know what some of you are thinking probably is, okay, well, what are the steps to this apology, or how do I do this apology? And we're not going to share that. And probably the biggest reason why we're not sharing that is to protect you, because for a man, for a husband to be able to do a proper bulletproof apology, he needs to have dealt with the bullets that he's doing it on. See, the bulletproof apology is not based on what your wife wants you to apologize for or what you feel like apologizing for. That doesn't work. This is based on the bullets that you have removed, right? The insecurities that you have dealt with. Because when you deliver it after you've dealt with the insecurity, then your wife can test you all she wants. You're gonna pass. You will pass. If you were to do the bulletproof apology genuinely and deliver it, and your wife would test you, but you haven't dealt with the bullets, you would fail her tests. And all you would give her is evidence that you haven't changed, and that everything that she's seen in the past few days, weeks, months is BS. It's not real. It was pretend. So it's really critical that you have pulled the bullet that you're doing the apology for, because if you haven't, this can happen. And that's going to take you down a rabbit hole that you don't want to go down on. Okay? There are more details in the book, which I talked about. Again, if you want our book for free, put book in the comments and I'll give you the link. There's some more details in it on it about the bulletproof apology, and it goes a little bit deeper. It's a very powerful tool. It's a very needed tool, because if you cannot rebuild trust with your wife, then she won't be able to believe that your changes are for real and that it's for the long term. And it's critical. It's a must, right? I mean, put yourself in her situation, right? If your wife was demonstrating certain behaviors for years, and then all of a sudden she changed, you would probably be pretty skeptical. You would probably think, well, I don't know, this doesn't make sense. She's been behaving a certain way for X years, and it doesn't make sense just all of a sudden changes like that. Well, she thinks the same thing, right? So you need to have tools and mechanisms and processes that you follow to rebuild that trust. And the bulletproof apology is a big step to that when done properly. John, anything on your end?
Yeah, I often relate it back to an open heart surgeon telling you the steps that he or she takes to perform that surgery. So they share the steps. They share what the steps are the same way we could share what the steps are in relation to the apology. Doesn't mean you're ready to do open heart surgery. Doesn't mean, hey, Andre just, spoke to an open heart surgeon and he told him all the steps. Okay, Andre, come and operate on it. I wouldn't want that, because the work hasn't been done, the skills haven't been developed for it to be a successful open heart surgery. And it's no different in relation to, okay, the severity. You can say the severity is different, but the concept of you got to do the work beforehand to get to the place where your bulletproof apology actually is a completion of the work that you've done. And it's communication. That's what it is. It's a communication and a completion of the work that you've done.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the starting point. It's the end point and an accumulation, as I said, of in many cases weeks of work for you to have starting out with having the confidence to step into even acknowledging that you have bullets and insecurities, even being willing to go and explore where they're coming from. Right? So, yeah, it is about protecting you. And it is also about helping you to be successful in that arena.